Okay, so that patient has PTSD and depression, but it seems that they got over it somewhat quick. I'll have to keep an eye on them. Let me just move their folder into here. There we go. And then this guy here. I really wonder if they're gonna react to the treatment I'm gonna give them. I hope going to one of their favorite worlds could probably fix something. Hey! I know you folks. Hi everybody, it's Dr. Detroit here. The doctor is in. Well, the mental health doctor, that is. Many of you have known me now for a little bit of time, and have known that I do a lot of stuff here in Vrchat. Okay, I film these videos of Vrchat101. My brother Arlo does the traveling Nardo, and we also do some other fun stuff here too, especially game shows and races. But as some of you probably know, I'm a mental health doctor here in Vrchat. And let me tell you, it's an interesting position, because I have seen so many different, mental health issues and all these different symptoms and things like that. You never know what you're going to end up meeting or end up finding out about. Now, here's the thing. Not everybody can be a mental health doctor, because you know what? I'll let you in on a little secret here. Some people are extremely bogus. They tend to be quacks or charlatans who think they know how to fix mental health, but they don't know Jacques Merde. I can see and hear a French coyote in the background laughing his snoot off. So in this episode of Vrchat101, I'm going to show you guys a few tools that you could use if you want to become your own mental health doctor. Because you know what? Here's the thing. As long as you have a little bit of information and a little bit of knowledge on certain subjects, you could easily pull this off. And of course, some people have a bit of knowledge, but for some reason or another, they're too scared to jump in and help their friends. So, therefore, I'm here to take away that scaredness and give you, instead, confidence in a little segment I like to call How to Be a Mental Health Doctor in Vrchat. This is going to be a lot of fun. Roll the intro. Being a mental health doctor here in Vrchat is a little bit easier than you think it is. However, it's not a cakewalk. It can take a very long time for you to perfect your skills. The main thing to keep an eye out for is to make sure that you know what you are talking about. Because the thing is that there are a lot of people out there who will give you a bunch of gobbledygook that think that they are a real mental health doctor. But here's the thing though, I don't have a PhD or anything like that. In fact, I'm not even an MD at this point. But the thing is that if you have a little bit of knowledge on, different things from depression to PTSD to suicidal thoughts to maybe even some other things in the mental health area, you could probably help your friend to either stop them from offing themselves or give them some advice to help them out. Now, in this situation, we're going to take a look at not just one, but we're going to take a look at four. We're going to take a look at four different tools that you can use, because I don't give away too many secrets, but these are four secrets that I know that you folks will enjoy. So let's head over to the red board where my trusty sidekick is, and I'm going to show you four of those tools that are going to help you out if you want to become a mental health doctor here in Vrchat. So over to the red board, right about now. What the hell am I doing here in my bone bathroom? Okay, this is a first. I'm not supposed to be here in the bathroom? Oh, God. Okay, I don't know how that happened, but let's try this again. I said over to the red board, right about now. There we go. Now we're in front of my trusty red board. That was a really crappy journey, I'll tell you what. Ah, hello, Mr. Foxy. Everybody loves you. And I see you're already here, and you already got my pens. I don't think we're gonna need all four of these, buddy, but I truly appreciate you, bringing these up here every time. Somebody's getting some extra chimkin treats later on. And that's a fact. Okay, I've split up the mental health tools into four different things. Now, here's something to keep in mind. I've already talked about this a little bit. Knowledge and training. It never hurts to do research. In fact, that's something that is super important when it comes to wanting to become a mental health doctor here in Vrchat, and that is to research. Research every single topic that you want to. Research depression, research PTSD, research autism, research age regression, research everything. Because the more ammo you have in your back pocket to talk about these different things, the better you're going to sound. Because the other thing too is that some of us have some of these things. Like I've said it time and time again, I have depression, I have PTSD, and sadly, it can act up at different times. Now, where do you end up getting the training procedure? Well, it helps to talk to somebody who has that kind of training. Now, there are some online courses that you can take where you could easily figure out how to do it. Or another thing that you can also do too, and this is one of my personal favorites, watch by example. In other words, go be with somebody who's got enough knowledge of mental health issues and see how they handle things. Because one of the most important things to know is that no two mental health doctors are the same. Some teach in different ways. Some people, like yours truly, like to take the nicer approach. We tend to do like a cross between nice and tough love. Sometimes you're going to have to give a little bit of tough love, but as long as you have a thick skin and are able to disassociate a little bit, then you're going to be okay. Another thing too to keep in mind is this. It's always important to not go too fast when you are actually trying to help somebody. Because here's the thing. If you try to go in way too fast, and if you try to help them with their mental health right away, you could actually be doing more damage than good, believe it or not. Even if your intentions are good, you could actually be doing more damage than, anything. Now, if that's the case, don't worry too much about that, especially if it's your first time. But if you constantly see that people are starting to avoid you, or avoid your help, that's when you need to change the way that you are presenting the help, or for that matter, presenting the topic. So it's always good to have some knowledge. It's always good to research, but also the train right here is super important. Oh, one other thing too. Don't make the same mistake that I did. I got my training from mental health servers, and while mental health servers, good lord, I'm getting tongue-tied today. While some mental health servers on Discord look friend-shaped, once you get to the creamy filling inside, it is anything but. Ooh, oh boy. The amount of weird people in there. Because you know what? There's people who are just... How can I put this without sounding rude? Let's just say that they're a little bit on the cuckoo side, and not only that too, but they think they are their own doctor, which, believe me, no matter how many times that you have diagnosed yourself on, stuff that you have, it's never official unless a real doctor signs off on it. But when it comes to a mental health doctor, obviously you don't have a PhD and obviously you don't have anything like that, but you know the warning signs. You know the signs that, signal, okay, this person has depression, or, oh, that's something that I've had. That's basically suicidal thoughts. So always make sure that if you're going to get training, go to different websites or talk to your nearby mental health doctor, like yours truly or some other people. Next up on the list, and this one is actually pretty cool, patience. You've got to have patience, and lots of it. Being a mental health doctor means that you gotta have the patience of a saint, okay? Because believe me, once you start, handling different situations, people are going to tell you their nastiest sexual shit a lot of times. Or sometimes they are going to trauma dump, or all of a sudden it turns into an audiobook that you didn't order for your Amazon Kindle. And believe me, I mean, I can go for a free audiobook right now. But to be honest, I'd much rather read without, having somebody read the book to me. Don't you? Well, actually, I still like Dr. Bones Polzar's story time. Uncle Bones actually did read us a couple of bedtime stories back in the day. Anyway, the patience thing, you need to work on your patience, okay? Because here's the thing: if you're one of those short-fused people, you are going to have a really bad time. Short-fused means that they can be ticked off the second that you say something. And I remember how I said about not bottling up those emotions? Sometimes that can happen. Is that if you're somebody with short patience and you bottle up your emotions, and all of a sudden your patient says something like, oh, but I have to do this, but you know what? I have to tell you all this, and then all of a sudden, bam, the thing just explodes. Then that means you ran out of patience. Now, yes, you might get to that point, but let me explain. You're only going to get to that point if all else fails. Now, if you have enough patience to listen to your subject, or basically your patient, you got to have, patience for the patient. One thing to do too, do not lose your temper. The last thing you want to do is get right up in their face like this, really right here, so that way the snoof is touching the camera, and you're just in their face, just completely, screaming and yelling and wagging your finger, and just, making them wish that they had never met you. Don't do that. Let me back up a little bit, because you guys, jeez. Some of you watch these videos on those giant screens here in Vrchat, so I think you guys just accidentally became accidental dentists after seeing my snoof, right there in your guys' faces. Anywho, don't ever lose your temper on somebody unless they truly push you over the edge, and unless they are not willing to get help. because there are so many people out there. There's just so many people who want help, and then suddenly they say, I don't need your help. I'll look it up myself. Go for it then. Because hey, you know what? You just wasted 5 hours of my precious time telling me all of your nastiest stuff, and then you tell me that I gotta go over here and that you're gonna look it up on WebMD, where you type in all of your stuff and it says that you're gonna die within 2 hours? Whoa. Ho ho ho. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for going on that little rant. Ooh, that's not like me. That's a little PTSD to some clients that I used to have who were kind of like that. But don't you see? That's what you can run into. Is that you'll run into those people who will just waste your time when simply they could have just looked it up themselves. But the reason that they wanted somebody there is just somebody to listen to them. So, build your patience up. It'll build up over time as you offer your help to other people, okay? Next up is backup. Backup is important too. At first, it may seem simple to go at it on your own, but in some cases, you need a little bit of backup, especially when it comes to like sensitive subjects and other sorts of things. For example, let's go ahead and use the space here in front of me. So let's say that these two little figures right here, or like these two pictures, represent you and your friend, and something over here is the patient in question. So you come over here and you start, doing what you do. However, the conversation is going strong. It goes from depression to PTSD to maybe that they age regress, or maybe they get to something where it's like all of a sudden they have like this trigger for weird things, like say maybe they get triggered by the color blue or the color purple or even the color turquoise. Now that's when you bring your friend in this way and they can take over. Don't be afraid to let your backup take over, because sometimes the backup plan, the backup person, is probably the way to go. And as you guys saw in the backup plan episode, it's always good to have a little bit of backup. And the backup should be somebody who you out there trust with your life, or at least trust with your friendships and things like that. Like for example, another example will be like this. So when I go out, to, let's say, Arlo's place, or maybe I'm going to meet him at the Bochum International Airport, somebody's got to take care of Mr. Foxy. So who does that fall to? Well, I'll tell you, it often falls to one of the members of Travel HQ. However, back at Virality Ultra, all of us got to go, so I left Mr. Foxy in the hands of Silva Ochadamitsu. If you guys did not see the Astro Boy Express episode, Peacekeeper, that we did, that we finally got around to filming and then releasing sometime in April or May or something like that, you guys will probably know exactly who I'm talking about. He didn't go with us to Ultra because he's stuck over there at Silva. But he came over here and he took care of Mr. Foxy. And Mr. Foxy was super happy to see me come back, as well as also see Arlo come back too. So, always make sure you have some backup with you, and if there's no backup, then you just do what you can do best. And then finally, the last one here, and this is extremely important, time to rest. Now, time to rest, this is vital, because here's the thing. When you are talking to other people, and when you're mentioning about the fact that, you've helped all these different people out, sometimes it can wear you down. Where pretty much to the point where all of a sudden you need some self-help. and you need some self-care. That's the thing. Don't overload yourself. Don't go around to different instances, and put yourself through, bigger cases. Set your boundaries. Set those boundaries first. So say this. Let's say that on a typical day, let's go ahead and move it over here so there's way more room. So let's say on a typical day like Monday, that's when you decide to go and check on your friends or check on your cases. Then Tuesday, you decide to take a rest. Wednesday, you're back at it again. Thursday, you could be back at it again as well. And then use Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to kind of be up to you. So it also depends too on that person, because some people probably are on during a Wednesday or a Friday, others on these different days. But always set aside 1 to 2 days for yourself. And whatever you do, just do whatever you want to. Go play a game in Vrchat, go swimming, go world hopping, do something cool that you can get your mind off of a few things. And then once you're ready to come back, you can come back in with a very clear mind. And what's also helpful too is that you may even find better ways to kind of help those people out, especially when it comes to talking about everything. Now, before we wrap this up, I do want to say this though. I want to go back up here to knowledge really quickly. The main mental health illnesses that you're gonna come across are basically like this, and they are in no particular order: depression, PTSD, CPTSD, which is basically an extension of PTSD, except it's more complex, which we'll talk about that in a completely different video. Age regression, autism, ADD and ADHD, anxiety, and there's one other one too. God, what is it? Oh, now no, that was it. So all of these ones here are the main ones that you are gonna be seeing. Primarily, depression, ADD, and ADHD. These three here go hand in hand. PTSD and CPTSD and depression also go hand in hand too. Age regression and PTSD, they also go together too. So you'll see a lot of these start to pop up. You'll start to see these things pop up a lot when you're researching. So again, always good to do some research and get a little bit of training. Have as much patience as you can, but make sure you have lots of it. If you can get backup, that's a good thing. And remember, allow yourself some days off so that way you can go to events, you can do what you gotta do around the house, or go get groceries, or whatever. Because believe me, all us mental health doctors, we need a little fun too. Now I know this video seemed a little bit short, but the thing is that being a mental health doctor here in Vrchat is not rocket science. All you need is a little bit of knowledge and just how to execute it. Because you know what? It's all in the execution. Some people have a great way of, executing this perfectly. But here's the other thing too, and this is super important. Be open to hugs, okay? Virtual hugs. Because here's the thing. If the people that you're working with suddenly start to feel a little better and they stop crying or anything like that, you are going to get praised and you're going to get hugs. And when there's a hug, you take it. I don't care if somebody is spamming your invites. You give them a hug at the end of everything. Because you know what? For some people, that might be the only hug that they can feel when they are away from family. because some people have a very abusive family, which I didn't include that in this video because abusive situations and things like that, um, you know what? I think we're going to make a part 2 of this, but this time around you guys don't have to wait, all this time. So I think maybe the next one is going to be part 2 of like how to be a mental health doctor, because I think we're going to make part 2 talk a bit about abuse and harassment and other sorts of things. So this is more of the lighthearted stuff. Next episode of Vrchat101, we're going to take it just a little bit deeper. But that's going to do it for this first part. If you guys want to see more of these, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to comment down below. And also subscribe, because I also like to see those numbers go up. And also, I like reading your guys' comments. So, I'll see you all next time for part 2. Until then, take care.